Auto sequence start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, hello there. Welcome, my fellow brochachos, to another installment of Canned Conversation. My name was Andrew, and with me, as always, my good friend Steven.
What's up?
All right, my friend, tell me, what was your favorite video game growing up?
I think we played a lot of Pitfall. Yeah, I'm going to go with Pitfall.
Ooh, that is some old school.
That's old school Atari.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking, Mario Brothers was a staple for us. I mean, I think I played the most of it. But I got to say, for like Nintendo NES, I played a ton of Excite Bike. I don't know why I had a good, really good go on that one. Yeah. And I loved being able to make your own track. It was like sort of the first you can do your own.
Small town, so I will say that we played a lot of like old school Pac-Man on a Pac-Man machine, right? Like that was probably also it was up there in the top 5.
Nice.
So Pac-Man, Pitfall, and then Asteroids.
Sure.
And then Centipede. Centipede, Asteroids, Pac-Man, and Pitfall. That's my top
Bunch
4.
of the old schooler stand-up machines, right?
Yeah,
Put the quarter in.
Then we played like NHL when that came out. Like like the hockey game, I played the crap out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And Tomb Raider. So we played the crap out of Tomb Raider too.
Wow, you were
sorry. I've got top 6.
Yes, you're doing generational. Sega, I want to say, is where NHL lived on for us. NHL, it's like 92, 93, 94, like all those every year. All right. Well, as is our gimmick, one of us brings a new, unique, or rare canned beverage to try, and while we slurp upon its contents, we will do our very best to entertain you with our take on life's most interesting questions. Today's topic being the concept of unwritten rules.
Ooh.
Later in the show, we're going to come back and review and rate the canned beverage and let you know if you should try it while indulging in the annual town orgy.
What?
Huh?
Wait.
No, that doesn't happen often. It's annually.
Well, so once a year.
What's the worst position in the annual town orgy? The Gatorade guy?
What
that has to run in with the hydration?
Yeah, definitely that guy.
Or Towel Man?
Towel Man's probably worst. Yeah, that's
okay.
probably the worst.
All right.
Holy Moses. God, that took a turn already.
Well, we are live right now on one of our live shows, our second. So hopefully we have some people hanging out with us. If you are, do not be afraid to drop some lines in the chat. We had a really good time last time reading over the chats as we go. Stephen will be kind of monitoring those and keeping track of some of our participation from our live audience. Yeah. I will not, as I try to keep my hand on the wheel of all of the goings on.
You're steering the
behind
train.
The scenes.
You're powering the train. I'm just I will do the best I can in chat. But last time it got crazy, which was fun. So
yeah,
love it.
All right. Well, we need a can.
Yeah, we do.
If you're out there watching us live, I hope you have a can of your favorite beverage. So we're gonna bring ours out, and here we go.
Cool.
Stay calm, okay? Let's not lose our heads. It's a fine ID. It's gonna work. It's passable, okay? This isn't terrible. I mean, it's up to you, Fogel. This guy's either gonna think, here's another kid with a fake ID, or here's McLovin, the 25-year-old Hawaiian organ donor. Okay, so what's it gonna be?
I am McLovin.
I am McLovin.
Out of all the names.
All right. What's that one from?
Oh God, now I drew a blank on this, but it's one of my daughter's favorite quotes from she's like the where they right after that or right before that when they go, of all the names you picked McLovin. Yeah. Right. I was trying to choose from like there's 3 big Muhammad and like
Cher. Like, what do you share?
Right.
Oh yeah, with the Muhammad line. Why would you do that? Why would you pick Muhammad? Why don't you read a book? It's only the most used surname ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. So yeah, that was super bad.
Super bad. There you go.
And I believe it's like their 15-year anniversary or something. Wow. But I love that one. That one is so good. So I brought the beverage for today. This is WhistlePig piggyback barrel-aged rye bourbon with fresh ginger lime.
That's a lot going on, dude. I
Yes.
love the WhistlePig, though, just for the record, because that is also a groundhog or a ground beaver. Other words for WhistlePigs.
So fresh ginger lime means that it's ginger ale in here. I translate that into. I enjoy bourbon and ginger ale as a mixed drink. WhistlePig is I consider it a bit of a highfalutin bourbon. Like when I go and I get bourbon, I typically don't get WhistlePig, which I only see at liquor stores that have that on the top shelf. It's usually a little north of my price point.
Gotcha.
So I'll stick to like Woodford or something. So I will have to say that this is the most expensive can of alcohol I have bought outside of a stadium or a strip club, because this was marked at $24.99 for a 4-pack.
Ow.
When I went back and I looked, and I'm like, okay, this is supposedly a good bourbon. I may have tried it. I don't know at some point in the past, but it's a rye bourbon.
Yep, 100% rye.
Yeah.
100% rye whiskey.
And the rye bourbons are its own class, essentially. Bourbons from Kentucky. Most of it's corn, majority corn. They'll have rye in it, but like to be a regular bourbon, I think it's 51% corn. To be a rye bourbon, I think it's 51% rye. So,
Okay.
all I got when I went back and looked at the receipt, I think it was ended up charging me $19.99. It's probably because they
it's on
lowered
sale.
the price because it wasn't flying off the shelf.
Yeah, I can't imagine why.
Yeah. So I really hope this is good.
It's 8%, so it's fairly stout. 8% alcohol by volume, 12 Florida ounces.
But not too stout for the normal bourbon, I would say. Probably my mixed drink that I make by myself with bourbon and ginger ale probably is a little north of that. But I am excited.
Are you?
Let's see what we do here
What do
today
you
with
got?
this.
I'm going to open this can weird, so just know while you introduce this topic.
All right, so you're going to drink it upside down. All right. Well, let's talk about unwritten rules. This came up because I was in a conversation and the notion of bros came up. So the first thing,
Like bro code?
yeah. So the
Oh,
first thing I
nice.
wanted to ask you is, are we bros?
We're bros.
We're bros.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we have a
We're still
code?
bros because I wondered if bro ages out.
No,
Like-
bro ages in, I think.
Oh, you get to be more bro.
The older you get, the,
older you
broer
get?
you get.
Interesting. So that was my next question: is what when you hear bro, what do you think of? Like, what's a bro thing to do?
What's a bro thing to do? Fist bump when you say something funny that's nobody else in the whole world thinks is funny. You're like, bro, yeah, hit me up, and you fist bump. That is the broest thing to do.
Okay.
So
So I sort of think of Jersey Shore, right? Remember that show?
yeah.
Like the guys in there.
remember
were
that
like,
show? It's still on. They still are doing Jersey Shore
Forgot.
stuff. It's ridiculous.
Forgot they had sort of a revival.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
We're going to do this again.
There's no reason for it. Anyway,
All right. But I sort of think of those guys as bros, the constant gym rat that's
Yeah.
pumping. And when they're not in the gym, all they're doing is
egocentric dudes that are just out to look good, tan, and pick up chicks, and they're like, bro, hit me
Right.
up. Yeah.
So that's why I wondered if it was sort of like, do you age out of that? Or it's
No.
like, no. Okay.
You never age out of bro.
All right. Well, let's talk about the unwritten rules of friendship or bros. Now, I don't want to just single out men here. Women have their own code. Some of this may overlap if there's sister code or whatever it might be called. But just making sure.
Sissy rules.
I'll be talking
and bro code. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'll be talking about friendship bro code, but you could probably relate if you're one of our female listeners, or hopefully you do. So I want to get your thoughts on sort of the following unwritten rules of friendship or bros.
Okay.
So the number one rule, what's the number one rule of bros?
You don't tell on your what happens in bros land stays in bros land. That's
Brosville is
that's-
off limits to sister code.
No hanging out with your bro's girl. Or no, like dating your
I mean,
bro's
really,
ex.
I really feel like people are going to blow you up on this one. Bros before hoes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying.
Well,
okay.
but
All right, damn it.
That's the known one. I mean, I really thought you were going to get that one.
Okay.
Thankfully, I'm not keeping score on
Jiminy
this.
Christmas.
Bros before hoes. What do you think about that?
Okay. I do think that should be a thing. I don't think everybody who says that, I doubt respects that. They only are bros before hoes until the right chick comes along.
Till their hoes get a hold of them?
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, this is way more fun than hanging out with bros.
Yes.
So yeah. I think, God, I'm going to play the Andrew card and be like, I think you should have an equal balance. No. So,
All right, bro.
yeah. So I do think longtime friends that you've had should always be, sacred, and you should cherish those people. So I do think if you're dating weirdly casually people, like that weird casual person that you're dating for 3 weeks does not come before the person you've known for 15 years.
Agreed. Yeah.
So yes,
Good
I'm gonna
answer.
go with bros before hoes is still applicable.
Agreed. All right. So you got a good answer on
Technically, you
that
shouldn't
one.
be dating hoes. So just PS. PS.
All right. So the next one here, I won't make you guess all these because they
thank
do
God.
kind of then fall down the line. If you have any, though, feel free to
Okay.
to let me know if I miss any. But while I jump in with this one, always have your bros back.
I think that is accurate and applicable to bar fights and hopefully arguments of with their significant other. You're like, you know what? I got to take your side because we're bros. Your wife probably crazy or whatever. Like I feel like that's
Wow.
Whether that's emotional support or whether that's physical. If you're in a fight, we're all in a fight. Like I'm in a fight too. That's
All right. So I'll give you in a bar, you're backing your bro up
Yep.
or your friend. Now on the fight, if there's two, it's your friend and your wife. That's gonna be a little.
Oh, I was saying your friend and his wife.
Oh, good.
If it's between you and my wife's winning.
Yes.
She's right.
Got it. Makes sense. So
Yeah.
between a fellow bro and his wife, you're
I-
taking his side, going down in flames.
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
I have to at least
love
lean
it.
towards that way.
Okay. So my question is, if I called you at 2 a.m. out of the blue and I said, I need you to come pick me up right now from this house, you don't know the house, I need you to bring $200 in cash. Just don't ask any questions. Leave now.
Is this ride or die? Kind of.
What would you do?
Yeah, you go get $200 and you pick them up.
All right. Good answer. I love it. Not that that's going to potentially happen to me. I don't know if I lead that exciting of a life, but who knows? You never know. I can count on you if it happens.
Yeah, I'm there with $200.
Excellent. And I assume you would bail me out of jail for any reason. I would do the same for you and all of these, by the way.
Okay, good. Good to know.
And if your friend is at the bar completely wasted, you do not let said friend drive
Home. Absolutely.
Yes. Have their back.
Hell, if they're at a podcast completely wasted, which has happened recently,
I let that one go.
I did not drive home.
No, but I let you podcasts
You
completely wasted.
did let me podcast completely wasted on an episode. That was brutal.
Yeah. If you haven't heard that one, go back and check it
Or
out.
don't.
It's great. It's not. All right. Rule number 3 of the bro code: you must never pursue your bro's ex, sister, or mother.
Wow. That's specific. Ex,
Sister, or mother.
Ooh.
Have you ever had an instance? Here, I'll just throw out, you have a sister. Has one of your bros ever dated your sister?
No, my sister's older though, and so she was kind of into more mature guys. She would not have dated anybody from my class.
She wouldn't have dated a bro, huh?
No, not one of my bros. Somebody else's bros probably. No, I don't. So sure, that sounds like a great thing. Except for when your bro happens to have a hot sister that's, also your type. Then there's probably some room for flex. But their mom, no. Mom's off limits. That's weird. You can't be my bro and my stepdad.
At the same time?
The ex, that's only going to cause problems. You should always stay away from that.
Agreed.
I'm saying sister is flexible ground. That
Depending on how cool they are.
yeah, should have
and
a
how they
discussion
treat them.
around. Right. Like if they're cool with it, then it's all good. If they're not cool with it, not good.
Okay. Have you ever broken that on your end or gotten close where you've dated in your younger years pre-marriage?
I don't remember a lot of my younger years, thank goodness. No, I don't think so. I do think. Oh, all right. So air some dirty laundry.
Do you want me to go first?
So I think I dated a twin and wanted to date the other one, and they had cis code that said you can't.
Yes.
And I think that we upheld that. I think we were okay with that.
Okay. I skirted this one, and I'm given trouble to this day about it. But back in college, my roommate had taken an interest in a female we both knew, but never made a move, never pursued, if you will. Okay. And neither did I, really. But there was a night at a bar where we were all hanging out and had enough liquid libation that I believe I ended up kissing that girl on the lips, per se.
Oh, on the lips, you say.
On the lips, yes. I know.
We're talking some serious stuff.
And my good friend was really unhappy with me. And I understood, like, but
I get it, but you missed your chance.
I gave
Somebody's
you like
got to take a shot.
Yeah, I gave you a 3-week...
A 3 week?
Like from the time there was interest, it was like it had been going on for a long time where there was no pursuing. I'm like, well, you need to pull the trigger.
Back when there's no Snapchat, you can't just be like, hit me with your snap, and
right.
they do all the weird snappy stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was before that. So you gave him 3 weeks, and you're like, you didn't shoot your shot. It's my turn.
Well,
now I'm going to go
only
kiss
made
her
that
on the
decision
lips.
in the 5-second span of we were both in the same place
And
at
wasted.
the wrong time
Yeah.
with the wrong amount of alcohol
On
in
the
us.
lips, though.
I believe we may have smooched.
Wow. Saucy.
Yes. That's podcast approved language.
Got it.
All right. You never interfere in a bro's relationship, which you already kind of brought up in terms of your friend having a relationship and there's an argument between them. You're going to take his side.
I think you lean towards his side. However, interfere is a weird word.
Let me throw a couple examples.
Okay.
Don't point out the flaws in your friend's significant other. Don't say she has a terrible personality. She's unfunny.
I'm going to go with yes. You don't do that.
That's a good answer. Yes.
Because I truly believe we've all had friends that we were like his significant other or his girlfriend's bat crap crazy. So,
but right, you'll end up alienating a little bit of because your friend made the decision, right?
Right. It's all on you,
yeah.
right?
And so, and even if they break up for a minute, right, and then you jump on the gravy train of let's give all of our thoughts on this particular person, they could then get back together, and then you're kind of seen as the douche.
Yeah.
All right. What if the wife asks where your friend is? Like maybe you get a call from the wife or significant other and they say, hey, do you know where your bro is right now? Because I don't. He's not answering his phone. I have no idea where he is. You know where he is. What do you answer?
This one pulls at me. So if he is off doing something immoral, unethical, illegal.
I didn't.
So I'm caveating
right.
this.
Yes, excellent.
I can't cover for you. If he's organizing a secret birthday party for you, I'm gonna lie my ass off.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Right, but so I have trust is an issue, right? Like I think you should be honest. So more than likely, I would be as honest as I could, without like giving it up. Like I would be like. I'm not certain exactly where he's at. And they'd be like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm fairly certain. I don't exactly know where they're at. Even though I'm like, you're like, I went golfing. Don't tell anyone. I'm like, I'm not exactly sure where they're at because I don't know what hole you're on.
All right.
But if you go, hey, I'm going to go out with and pick up strippers and snort some coke or something, I'll be like, dude, you need to check your husband. I'm not sure where he's at, but you do need to check your husband. Like, something's going on. Like, help fix
So you would take that extra step. See, what I put in here is, from my point of view, is I don't know that you necessarily say you need to check your husband or your significant other, but you quickly try to get off the phone with as little detail as possible. Then you call your friend immediately and go, hey, you need to get your tail back
Yes.
to where you need to be, and if it's something that immoral that could potentially cause a divorce or legal action of some sort, then you tell your bro,
You need to
hey,
get
we need to
yourself in
talk
check."
a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
That's fair too.
Yeah, I would counsel my bro, but I don't know that I would give him up on the fly.
But I also don't know in that scenario if the bro has asked me to completely lie for them, and I know
They shouldn't have to. That's the code, the unwritten rule. That is what we're talking
I'm
about.
not a huge fan of that rule.
All right.
Because that puts me in a weird moral dilemma.
Okay.
Okay.
You must always keep a bro's gag or story going. This is a more lighthearted one. Example, you say,
Agree.
I was brought up Presbyterian. What do I always say?
I thought something with a beard. Are you not with the beard one?
Yeah, no. So if you, because
Yeah.
you go,
Yeah.
hey, I was brought up Presbyterian.
Isn't that the
no
religion
matter
with the
what,
beard?
no matter where we are or what situation it is, and we've had this happen at work when we work together. I say, hey, they don't believe in hell, and they grow beards in the winter.
Yes, that's absolutely accurate.
So the inside jokes, the inside stories.
Yeah, you
if
have to
someone
keep
makes a
them going.
reference
Yep.
to it, you have to keep
You
it
have to let
going.
it run. Yep.
Yeah.
Let it run its course.
If you have music lyrics or music things or movie lines for a lot of people, usually like one person will start it, next person just has to. It's an unwritten rule.
It is.
Got to keep it going.
Yep.
Or if you ask a crazy question like an elephant on a scooter is chasing you, what do? You have to give a serious answer.
Yeah, you bark twice, you pull your pants down, and you find a fire hydrant.
Yes. And there you go. So you're on board with that rule.
I am.
Good. Love it.
We're in.
You must point out when your bro's attire is questionable. Like if their fly is down,
You do
that's
have to-
one thing.
yes.
You gotta point
that's
that out.
100%, 100% of the time.
But if they're wearing Crocs
I wear Crocs.
in a non-Croc situation,
There's no non-Croc situation unless we're at a wedding, and that's Crocless.
if you were wearing
Crocs
black
at a wedding,
Crocs with your tux at a wedding,
then I still think you're fine.
all right.
Don't say it. Like you be you. I'm okay with authentic bro. Like if it called you to wear Crocs to this wedding, that's on you to take the consequences of someone being pissed off. So I'm gonna go with no. You do. I don't think you have to say something to your like. That seems very Jersey Shore-ish.
I would agree. But I think it's probably the level of where you're at. So in Jersey Shore, they're probably like, "Hey, bro, you're not oily enough, right? You gotta you don't have enough hair product in. It looks like it's waving around a little bit. You got to batten that down, get it concrete."
So for those,
But for like us, if we were at, I don't know, an event of some sort, and you're like, "I'm gonna rock this vest and." Buttoned up all the way to the top,
like a
shirt
bolo tie
and a bolo.
and then I would probably want you to go, hey, why don't you tone that down a notch? Why don't you just take the bolo off and maybe not the vest?
All right, loosen things up
Yeah,
a little.
just try to calm down a little bit there.
You're trying real hard there,
Yeah,
bro.
take off the old turquoise bolo and just let's chill out. So speaking of which, I did get some obnoxious, but I love them, pants from a listener for my birthday. And so I thought you want to see them if you're on live.
Let's see if we can see these things. These are fantastic. For those that aren't on live and listening, these pants are amazing. You want to describe them? Or no, you're away from the mic.
They say beers of America on them, and it's all the old school beers. It's got Stag and Coors and I don't know. It's got everything on them. These pants are phenomenal, and they're stretchy pants. And what I feel like is, so I wore them tonight. Speaking of obnoxious outfits, these pants got some attention because I actually went into a store wearing them today, and some guy's like, "Dude, you need to wear those everywhere." And I'm like, "I've never worn these out in public." He's like, "You should. Those are awesome." I was picking out beer, and so then
Yes.
Anyway, so but yeah, so they have all of the old beers on them, and they are stretchy pants, and they're super comfortable. And I this is the closest thing I've ever had to what I feel like women use like yoga pants for, when they're just like, it's like not wearing pants. These are like not wearing pants, which I love. So I'm kind of into them now. I might start wearing yoga pants. What do I know?
Yes.
So Anyway, yeah. So yes, when you saw me pull up in these and you didn't say a word about how obnoxious they were.
Yeah, you got out of your truck, you walked around. I noticed immediately.
It's hard not to because they are pretty bright.
And I saw that they were beers, so I thought that is perfect.
Yeah.
It is perfect for what we're doing.
Pants.
And you mentioned you got them as a birthday gift.
Yep, for the podcast.
Nice.
Listener said you need to have these. So shout out for sending them for my birthday. I got podcast pants, so I'm wearing them for the podcast.
All right. Speaking of listeners, if anybody, I don't know if anybody's chatting a little bit, but does anybody have any bro items you've picked up?
We have a pretty long time listener, Billy, who's out there in listener land. He's always is in listener land, which I love Billy for that. He actually just talks about his his college roommate's sister was a dancer, like a
Exotic dancer,
like a dancer for money. She'll do what you want her to do, kind of like an Elton John. Is that an Elton John song?
That's Tiny Dancer.
That is Tiny Dancer. There you go. So she was a tiny dancer, and the roommate's like, you don't make enough money to even hit on her. She needs sugar daddies. So he was like, I'm interested. And roommate's like, good try, but you don't have it. So that was his background story.
All right.
Which is
now that begs the question, because I know we've been in situations where we've gone with friends to restaurants that are more of the like Hooters variety, or Twin Peaks is one now.
Oh yeah, and there used to be like Tilted Kilt was in town.
So if your bro starts hitting on the waitress, overly confident that they're going to in fact go home with that waitress.
Is your bro single or married?
Single. Let's say available.
Okay, sure.
But do you kind of counsel the bro? I mean, it's just sort of in keeping, I think, with the theme here that Billy brought up.
Yes. I think you should go, hey, this person works for tips.
Right.
You're going to tip them a lot because you think they're actually interested in you. Take a deep breath.
Right. How many?
Yeah.
I know. I can recall there was like a concert or two where we went out beforehand and the waitress pulls up a chair next to your table and it's like, oh, all right, guys, it's been a rough night.
Right.
You guys look fun.
Right.
So make me laugh so that, I can get rid of all these other weirdos in this place.
Right. She's working it.
Right.
Working it. Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, sure.
And you're like, she likes me.
But
this one woman with giant, chest loves me.
Giant personality.
Giant. That's what I meant. What did I say?
Chest.
My bad. I meant personality.
Right. But I mean, and what's funny is you and I we've been married a long time. So we were both married at the time, and they leave and we just look at each other and laugh. I almost said giggle. We giggle like bros.
We giggle.
We're giggling bros.
Yeah. No. And you're like, yeah, I love that you're trying to earn the tip, and I get that. And, and I don't need all that. I need you to engage with me. I don't need you to pretend like you want to take me home.
Yeah.
I've got somebody at home. I don't need that.
Plus, if I was single, you would hope that you really don't fall into that trap of thinking that's going to happen. I mean, how many Hooters girls go home every night with one of their their tables?
0.001% have actually ever gone home with anybody, I'm guessing, but instead they go home with $600 or $800 in tips.
Yeah, and good on you if you're one of those waitresses
working the game.
Yes, do what you got to do, because I say you make your money. I have no hate for working that method.
Working your angle.
Right. I just, sometimes it's a little jealousy probably, because I'm like, if I ever worked at a restaurant, I would get zero of that angle.
You would pull up next to people and go, hey, listen, I've had a hard day. And they'd be like, dude, get up. Get away from my table.
Oh, ladies, can you just get me out of this hell that I'm in? No. But we do need some more rounds of drinks here. So if you could go get those, that would be great.
Get some salsa, get up, get me some salsa.
All right. The very last rule that I have is you are responsible for, in the event of some tragic ending, going to your bro's house, getting on their computer,
and removing porn.
And removing their search history.
Their search history.
Yes. I mean, obviously, I guess if porn is involved in that, but any of their search history, I believe that is an unwritten rule that you are supposed to take for your friend.
I'll be honest. I think it depends on the bro, and not for the reason you think. Like, I don't think I could get into your computer. Like, your passwords are so jacked up. Like, I can't get into your Wi-Fi half the time.
It's funny that you mentioned that, since I explicitly gave you my password, because you are my in case of emergency dude.
Oh, do I still have your password?
Yeah, you have a document that says
it's never changed since then?
Not the main one.
Okay.
Because if it did, I'd have to update you.
And I know you would. I don't know even why I brought this up. So yeah, never mind.
I'm coming over.
I'm coming over and
my bro. But that also gives you access to, because if anything were to happen to my family,
I have banking apps.
You are right. You have you're going to be the executor of my huge, vast fortune,
to the mansion and the estate and the horses,
all the bills you have to pay.
Yeah, we're gonna. This house is gonna be foreclosed.
All right. Well, bro.
Okay. So
let's talk about the can here. And
okay.
So again,
this is on you, Piggly Wiggly.
For those at home and playing along, the WhistlePig, which is a bourbon, barrel aged rye. They put together with a ginger ale or fresh ginger and lime in this can. So I'll start since I brought it. This is wonderful. This is really good. But I like bourbon in a mixer. Like sometimes, like I said, I'll do ginger ale. I'll do Coke. With the bourbon. Don't try to stop me, bro.
We'd have to have a bro conversation if you were doing lines.
So no, this is really good. I think I know rye bourbons are a little less sweet because the corn and the other bourbons will make it a little sweeter.
Sure.
So it tamps that down a little bit, but then you get a little bit of the sweetness with the lime that goes in the ginger ale. So this is really good. I don't know if it was $24.99 for 4-pack good. I'm not going to let that interfere with my rating, the cost.
Yes.
But, it was one of those, I really hope I don't rate this a 5, because then I'll be going out and spending way too much money on a can of booze. But I want it to be good enough to merit how much I paid for it.
Right. There's a very small window
that
this can fit into.
Yes. I'm going to go with a 4.
That makes sense.
It's right. And it's not just because of that, but I like the taste. It's got a mellow, nice, easy flavor. It's not too heavy on the bourbon. It's not too heavy on the ginger, and not too heavy on the lime. And it's just goes down well. I like that it's 8%, because some of the canned cocktails that we have are north of 10. I think I've said north of 4 or 5 times in this episode, so I apologize for that. But
you should come south of that.
I'm just really into my directionals tonight.
Apparently.
So I like it, and I like that 8%. Like I think it fits in that pocket of it's good alcohol level without being too overly dramatic on the alcohol or heavy pour to make it overly done.
All right. So with that said, I don't like whiskey. I'm just not a whiskey fan. And you can give me the nicest whiskey in the world,
right?
The smoothest stuff that everybody's like, here, try this. It's super smooth. It makes my mouth turn inside out. This doesn't. And honestly, what this reminds me of, and I hearken back to this, but it got me. So I was not a mixed drink person. Even when we started this podcast, we've done a lot of canned cocktails. And I've just never been a whiskey guy. We've done some Crown stuff, I think, on the show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Didn't we do a Crown at some point?
The Crown and Cola. We've done a lot of canned cocktails. But with whiskey, not a lot with whiskey. There's been a lot with rum.
Okay.
A lot with, those types.
Yeah.
Vodkas, for sure. Vodkas, like all Cutwater stuff. And
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Moonshine, we had those.
We've had some moonshine stuff. Yeah. So this reminds me of, so I got hooked on, spiced rum and ginger ale when we went to the Bahamas. Spiced rum, ginger ale, a cube of lime, like a wedge of lime squeezed in. That same kind of refreshing feel, like that you could just drink bunches of them. I actually still do. Sailor Jerry's is the spiced wine or spiced rum. It's cheap as hell, but it's good.
Right.
And you put that with a little. So I've been drinking that a lot. Not a lot. Not like my wife thinks I drink that probably too much, but I it's a good, like, refreshing thing. This is a good, refreshing, like whiskey for even if it's got a whiskey taste to it, I'm like, it's not bad.
Nice.
So I'm torn on it a little bit because it's a whiskey. I can taste the whiskey, and I'm like, there's a little whiskey taste to it, but it's also kind of got the gingery, limey kind of like not heavy, not super gross in your mouth, turn your tongue inside out kind of mixed drink. It's decent. I'm stuck between a 3 and a 4. So
we don't do halvesies.
I know. That's why I'm stuck. That's what stuck means.
While you're thinking about that, I do just have to point out that it was sort of humorous. We went back on the last live show and read through some of the comments, and people noticeably saw your face when you drank something, like when you drank it.
I have a pretty expression.
And it was face. Like you kind of did like puckered up and was like, and then, but I'll rate it a 3.
Yeah.
So
I get used to it though. I puckered on this one too. I'm like, ooh, I can taste the whiskey. Okay. But now that it's soothed, it's kind of soothing now. It's not bad. It's not the whiskey taste anymore. So I'm gonna go 3. I wrote it down. It's a 3. I wanted to go 4, but it's going to be a 3. Sorry.
Okay. No worries.
Because I would take that rum drink, that spiced rum, little Sailor Jerry's and ginger ale over this all day.
And I guarantee you, part of it, the price point. Like
I will not buy this for $26 a 4-pack or whatever. That
or even $20.
No.
So I mean, part of the 4 is that if you saw it out, and you're like, hey, I might add this into the rotation. You almost have to consider that a little bit. This is rather pricey. And for something that you're not really that into. And
I could get the same experience out of a spiced rum and ginger ale and a lime as I do this, but this is very similar. Like it's just got a little bit of the whiskey taste on the end of it, but
all right,
it's good. It's good.
I love it. So we got a 3 and 4.
Yeah, not bad.
Together, that's 7.
That's not how it works. But okay.
All right. So average 4.
3.5.
If you want to get away from the bra stuff for just a minute, we'll transition. We've been talking a lot of bro stuff. We got to reel this in just a smidge. So I kind of said at the top of the show, we'll talk a little bit about friend unwritten rules, but now we're going to talk about once you grow up or once you get out of, where you just have friends that are your, your bros, then you get married and you have a set of, first of all, unwritten rules. So the first question I want to ask
marriage rules?
Yes. So the first question I want to ask you are, what do you remember as the written rules of your marriage?
I don't know that we have any. I mean, like other than your vowels.
Vowels? Your vowels?
Vowels.
So you said vowels to your wife on your wedding day?
Yeah, we were going to do consonants, but we decided
too many.
Instead, there's a lot of them, right? And they're like, well, let's just skinny it down a little bit.
Keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, just nothing but vowels.
Let's get to the reception.
I'm like,
come on, nobody likes a really long.
And she's like, oh, and you. And I'm like, great, let's go.
Yeah, do you remember your vows?
Vows.
I need
to work on that whole syllable.
I feel like you're in your brain, you're taking time by doing this vows thing, and do you remember your vows?
So I remember we got married in a Catholic church, but I wasn't Catholic, so it was a modified Catholicism stuff, whatever they do for that. I don't feel like it's stupid crap.
They're pretty close. I kind of looked up some of this because there are different vows, traditional vows for different religions. Knowing you got married in the Catholic church, but you were Presbyterian.
Yep. So we grow beards and we don't believe in hell. So they had to take all that out. Right. I think the only thing. So I know I'm sure if Jen's out there listening somewhere in listener land, she'll probably disagree with me. We've had this conversation. I really think we actually had them remove one of the lines, which was about serving a husband, and we said going into a marriage it should be equal. And there's a line in the normal Catholic marriage that talks about you will be subservient to your husband. And I think we removed it, but Jennifer, I think, said no, we didn't. And I'm like, well, then you should be better at this. And then she's like, well, maybe we did.
Well, so where I was going with this is Stephen, take thee, Stephen's wife, to be my wedded wife, or in her case, when she said husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to cherish till death do us part. Those are your written rules. That's the basic standard.
That's the
Christian version.
The baseline of those.
Right.
Yeah.
So
vows.
those were your written rules of marriage.
Sure.
Now, what's interesting is like nowhere in there did I say, I promise not to spend money on the things that you think are stupid and meaningless.
Right. And nor did it say, I had no idea how like you were going to be sick all the time.
And a terrible patient when you are.
Right. No. So. Okay. So what? I'm sorry.
So those were the written rules.
I'm with you on written rules.
Okay.
Now
So hopefully those are something that we're monitoring there or having in our life.
Yeah.
So the unwritten rules that make for a good marriage, or at least one that you can both tolerate and more than 50% of the time.
Yeah.
So if you think of anything again along the way, I'm going to throw some out to you.
Okay.
So the first one I have is know and respect each other's deal breakers.
Know and respect each other's deal breakers.
Right. What the things that if you came home
If you cross
and said,
that threshold, you're done.
I've done
you're
X, Y,
gone.
Z, and they were like, I am packing up and moving out. So
Yeah. I
a
think
big one is cheating.
Yeah. Yes. I think knowing them is the first problem of marriage, right? Of going, I need to figure out where the limits are. Like if I cross this line, there's no coming back to it.
Right. That's why I said
Yeah.
knowing and respecting.
Like I think
the
the
other deal
knowing
breakers.
part's the hardest because I don't think people,
And if you were to gamble your house away,
Would you still
that might
be
be a
married?
deal breaker.
Right.
Right? If you had that level of gambling problem. If you became a fugitive, right? Like if you
robbed a bank,
yeah,
if
that'd be a
you
deal breaker.
decided to snort cocaine every night, is that a deal
Off a
breaker?
hoe.
Yeah, right. Off of some stripper's butt.
What?
What?
All right.
All right. So yeah,
All right. Let's go to number 2.
I think that's a good one.
Here's just a fun one. Don't criticize your spouse's driving.
Oh, I can't do that, and that's not
You do that to your wife?
a lot.
Your wife is such a funny driver, though. She does. I've driven with her, and my favorite part about your wife's driving is that she probably is half my size, right? Like she weighs half of me, and if she comes up to a stop sign rather quickly, she throws her arm out over in front of me
protect you?
or you or whoever's in that seat in order to hold you back from lurching forward. And her arm that probably weighs 15 pounds or 10, I don't know. She thinks that's going to stop me. It makes me laugh every time I've
Have you ever
driven
seen
with
her hand or her foot? They're the size of small children's hands and feet. So it's not like she
They're
could
not stopping me.
It's not like she could grab a hold of you and like hold you back either.
But you actually you criticize her while you're driving?
Openly.
What does that buy you? She's not going to change her driving.
It's because I fear for my life. I'm like, you can't be that close to cars. You can't come up that close to people when you're stopped. Like you have to stop. You have to apply the brake earlier.
But
Or my best one, and I yell at everyone on the road for this.
Yeah.
Stop doing everything other than driving.
okay.
Stop. Like my wife is like, oh, well, I think I got text about that. Let me look. And I'm like, don't look right now.
Okay.
And then she's like, but yeah, I've got chapstick. Can someone? I'll find the chapstick. Never mind. And then she starts digging for and I'm like, stop looking for chapstick. Just focus on like 2 pedals and 1 steering wheel. That is your focus. Where are we going, and how do we not kill each other on the way?
So why aren't you driving then? If it's as much as you sort of make it out to be, I would feel like you would just be like, you know what? I'll drive.
I drive a bit, but I drive fast, and so it's more about control, right? She feels like she's in control, so she's not worried about her life. But like I worry about my life when she's driving, and I'm sure she's going. She looks at this speedometer and she goes, "You're going 88."
So she criticizes your driving as
yeah,
well.
I think it's fair play.
Okay.
I think we're equally unhappy with each other's driving. Sorry,
that's
that was a long-winded one. But
No, that's a good one. I liked getting deep into it. And I hope, when you listen, Jen, we love you and I love your driving. So I hope you enjoyed that. But yes, my wife and I, we now reference the lizard brain, right? We had that whole episode.
Oh, yeah,
so we talk. So the only time, is if when you really think something's going to happen or you don't catch your spouse looking and you see brake lights and you grab the handle and you're like, lizard brain. That was lizard brain. It wasn't you.
Yeah,
it was just my brain.
Your human
Yes.
subconscious making sure that you're safe.
All
Just
right.
so you know where I'm having a marital fight right now in chat. Keep going.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. Right. When your spouse is telling a story, don't interrupt to correct minor details to the story. Just listen to the story. That's the point. That's my unwritten rule.
Is it really?
That's
your unwritten rule.
I like if I'm listening to my wife tell a story, I know some minor details are incorrect. It doesn't matter. Right. Like I try. Now she might listen to this and go, "You are so full of it." I don't think I try to fact check.
You're the fact checking king.
Certain times.
Okay. All right.
For you, for sure.
Okay. Because I have the opposite problem, which is my wife includes way too many details, and more than likely she's fairly accurate on the details. I just don't need them. And so I tell her, stop saying so many words.
Save your words.
I need literally less than the Reader's Digest version of this story.
But that's how they want to tell it.
I know. And
it makes it for them. They want to get it off their chest.
And she wants to explain the emotions around it and how what exactly people said, so you have the whole context of it's just my personality. I can't deal with it. I'm like, I don't care. I don't need to know all that. All I need to know is, car accident, person died, you were sad, got it. That's you could bullets. It could be bullets. And she's like, it's my whole day, and it should be the rest of your whole day.
No wonder you have to do these constant surveys, because I mean,
we're very opposite in the way that so I feel bad, because that probably should be an unwritten rule for us, that I should listen.
Or at least you.
That's what I'm saying. An unwritten rule that you should listen to the stories.
Yes.
In the way that they need to be, that you want to tell them.
It's cathartic for them.
Yeah, to allow you to get it off your chest.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm giving you marital advice here. I'm your Dr. Phil right now.
Oh, Jesus. We're in trouble.
All right. This next part kind of goes along with that, which is the unwritten rule is nod and agree. Your spouse may say something or start to say something, have an idea perhaps, and you think it might be the stupidest thing you've ever heard, but you don't have to poo-poo on their parade.
I know you say this is one of your rules, and you've always talked about don't poo-poo on people's parade. That's not how it works in our house. But
I feel like your set of rules, you're going to have to come back with your own set.
I'm not. So we may need to start writing down some rules. I don't know that we have good rules is the problem. So don't poo-poo on somebody's parade is one of yours, and I think that's a decent rule in the grand scheme of things. Is I love innovation. I love people who think of things and have ideas and go, I want to do something different, or I want to experiment. I'm 100% for that. I think in practice that's sometimes hard, at least in art, where we go, that's dumb. Like that's not. Here's why that's not going to work. Or you're overthinking it. Don't do all. There's a simpler way. Like in my head, I go, there's a simpler way. Stop talking. Let's talk about a simpler way. Like you're way overthinking this. So I think that's probably I'm giving myself counseling right now. But
yes, you love brainstorming. I mean, and you're in the job that you're in.
Yeah, I'm a huge innovation guy. I'm a huge coaching guy. Yeah, absolutely.
You say you bring a lot of ideas.
Yeah,
and then we'll whittle them down. All right, like so maybe you're just kind of going through that second part of the motion of you're in work mode of like, okay, well let's whittle those down to the good ones. But I'm just throwing out there, you might want to take that part and just kind of sit on it.
Yeah, I need to be better about it.
Right.
Okay.
How we doing?
I feel bad about myself. Go ahead. Keep going.
Just let it all out, bro. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
This is what,
just don't tell my wife we had this conversation.
Oh, yeah. Is she listening live?
Yeah, and I've got feedback.
You got homework you're going to have to take.
I got he's a poo-pooer. That's the words.
That's awesome. Oh, this is great. Know when advice is unwanted. I didn't feel like that goes along again. So this tends to get men in trouble, right? I think this was sort of the basis of the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yeah, it's I want to fix things.
Men
you just need to be heard.
Things, and they're like, oh, if you're telling me a problem, that must mean that you want a solution. So you go right into solutioning mode, when in fact that's not really what the person wants. Unwritten rule. Should it be? Believe in it?
So I'm a big believer in intent, and my intent is always your best interest.
Okay.
So if we're always coming from a place where you know that my intent is your best interest, we're in a safe space. I don't think in a marriage you're always in that safe space where you really truly believe my intent is your best interest. So I offer advice because that's what I do for a living. Like that's my whole job in life is to coach people. And so when I see something, one of my biggest things is people need feedback a lot. Like I need to know if I can get better in any way, shape, or form. It's my job. That's what I do.
But yeah, your company pays you to do
Agreed.
that.
Not at home.
Yes.
Right. And so I think there's a boundary there that sometimes I'm like, I coach everybody in my life. And sometimes my wife's like, I'm not looking for that. And so it took us a while.
Right.
I think we're better about that now. I'm a better listener now, but I still think I have that tendency to go, I'm going to offer advice. I think I can fix this. I can help you. And I have to.
True. And I have that same tendency.
You have to pull those reins back. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's ingrained in some of our thought processes. And like you said, kind of the way we're wired, and it might be because of certain characteristics that the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus, just differences between us. I had to learn that. Because my first instinct as a young person in a relationship was, you're telling me this, and I'll give you a solution to that.
Yeah.
And it took a while for my wife probably to say, I don't think they knew the words necessarily to go, dude, stop trying to solution the problem. Just listen and go, that sucks. Sounds like you had a bad day. That would make my day bad.
Yeah. I vanilla ice everything, right? Like, you got a problem, I'll solve it. Right? Like I'm going to check out the hook while the DJ revolves it. So it took me a long time. I think I'm better about it now than I used to be, but it was everything that ever came up I can fix. I can fix anything, right? And like, that's not always the answer.
All right. Let's lighten it up a little bit.
Okay, great.
All right. Don't tell or go spreading what your spouse's kink is.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. Like,
right.
That is a intimate detail that like should not be shared.
Right. You don't go to a party, you have one too many and go, listen to what my wife or spouse is into.
Yep. No, that is off limits.
If
you want it to still be a kink, because if you don't, that will piss her off. Like, try not to piss her off.
Keep it betweenst yourselves.
Betwixt yourselves.
Yes, I believe. Yeah.
Sure, that's it. Sure. So yeah, don't talk.
Don't get skeezy.
Nobody wants skeezy. We had skeezy a couple episodes ago. We're not doing skeezy anymore.
All right.
That is skeezy.
Yeah, so the only caveats that I had was, unless you're seeking legal advice on if it's crossing a threshold of some sort.
That's not a kink.
Or you're asking for certain assistance on how to pull off certain maneuvers.
Wow.
Like maybe you go to your bro and go, hey, have you ever had someone with this? How's that maneuver work? I feel like that's a Seinfeld episode where Jerry has like the move, and then George wants
to move.
Wants to move because his doesn't have a good finisher. All right. Let's see. I have two more of the unwritten rules. You're a spouse, not a parent. That's just my personal. That's one of my. I think I wrote this down at some point. Not because my spouse was trying to be my parent. I just have seen other, a lot of these have come from my witnessing other relationships as well.
So you're trying to tell me that at no time in your marriage, over the vast years you've been married, that you've ever felt like your wife's trying to be your parent?
We've been married for 20 years now. So I can't say I never tried to be my parent. It comes down to that whole, the idea of I'm going to get in trouble if I do this. Can you go play golf on Saturday? I don't know. I got to ask her because I got to see if if she'll let me. If she'll let you, I get that if you have plans, you made plans together and then you have to respect the plans. But if she just says, nah, I'd rather you not because I want you all to myself and I'm not going to let you have friend time. Like being a parent of saying you can or cannot do stuff in your life, right? You're a person, right? Before you got married, you were an individual, right? And then you got married. That doesn't cease to become an individual. I get that you're a team now, but you got to be a team player, not like you said, you took out the subservient piece, right? It goes both ways. I don't tell my wife, you can't go do this, right? You can't go on a girls' weekend and then expect me to be able to go, oh, I'm going to go with my friends on this weekend.
So I expect a partner to advise in that sometimes that advice is, so as a collective unit, we are married, so we are a collective unit. As a collective unit, we can advise each other on where our feelings are on something. So I would like to go do this. And I'm okay with her going, I don't like that. I don't like you spending $4,000 on hunting stuff.
Sure.
I don't like this. I don't think you should do that. That's good. That's good communication, in my opinion.
I think that's the bigger.
So that's not, to me, it's not going, you have permission. It's we are a collective. So I don't get to unilaterally make decisions. We are a unit that makes decisions.
That's more of a macro level, I think. I'm talking about, we've all been there where we've been at like a bar and you're out with buddies and it gets to be a certain time and somebody looks at their phone and goes, oh my gosh, I got to be home. If I'm not home by like 10:30, I'm going to be in so much trouble. You're going to be in trouble for staying out as an adult?
Well, because
you have a curfew?
Because maybe
who gave you a curfew?
They broke an agreement, right? Like if you said, I'm going to be home by 9 and you've already told your wife 4 times that, I'm going to be a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. It's 10:30 and you've put her off. Now all of a sudden you've broken an agreement, which I would say you would break the same agreement with when we talked about bro code. So,
but in the spirit of what I think I'm saying, I think permission. That person would say like, oh, I got this thing tomorrow. I told my wife I'm going to go with her in the morning to go do something. I got to but it's on you have to own that. I'm going home so that I can make sure that I'm there for my partner tomorrow at a promised event, so not hungover.
I think what you're talking about is we've seen it, people who are afraid of their wives.
Yeah. Because of the parents.
Like they would be afraid of a parent.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I do think that's a poor relationship. Winning. I got a point in a game we weren't playing. If you're playing at home and you got that as well, chalk it up for 1.
So not my last one. My last one is just my final thought on that. Like, what was that guy that used to have the show that was the mayor of Cincinnati? Final thoughts. You shouldn't be afraid to fight, but fight fair. That's my unwritten rule. You shouldn't be afraid.
Yeah.
To debate, get in a spirited argument. You both have, I mean, you're a person with so many views. Yep. They're not going to match completely. If you're, obviously this goes without saying that there should be a problem if you're afraid to fight because there's physical abuse or something like physical fighting that's happening. Yeah. Throw that out. I'm not talking about that. Yeah, get some help and leave that situation.
You should be okay with arguing for the sake of having a spirited discussion because you're both passionate about a topic. Yeah, that's okay, and you can be in a disagreement as humans do.
Agreed, completely.
Where I think the end of that sentence is more important, which is fight fair.
Fight fair.
Which is don't say stupid crap that you're going to regret and have to apologize for. Like keep it. So, and I try to do this, like I am very good, I feel like I'm very good about, I will not say something unless I really, truly mean it. And if I really get way out of control, which I have yet to get way out that far out of control, I will apologize if I think I overstepped a bounds and was like, I was blunt. I think I was too blunt. I should not have gone that far. Like, so I 100% agree. It's okay to fight. It's like people are like, oh, my parents are fighting. It's okay. They should. They're human beings. They disagree. It's all good. Yeah. They should fight fair, and they should not be the people who just knock down, drag out, and start calling each other stupid names and going, I hate your parents. I hate you. I hate everything about you. You're a sicko person. I hope you die. Right? Like that's
you're the
dumb.
one with that kink.
Right. There's nothing good that comes from that other than apologies later.
Remember 2 years ago when you did this and I've never gotten over it and it applies to this loosely, but not really.
Yeah. Be adults. So I will say,
unless you're losing badly, then just, no holds barred. Right.
Yeah. I will say one.
No, that's wrong.
No, that's not. Yeah. If you're losing badly, you probably have either had too much to drink and you can't come up with logical points, or you probably should secede and say, I don't have solid ground to stand on.
I summed it up by saying, don't take cheap shots, which you said. Don't personal insults. Yep. No good. Don't call them names. That violates the rule.
I will say we have in the comment section. I think it's a valid point. Somebody says, if I have to say, let me ask my wife, that means I don't want to go because I'm about ready to blame her.
Okay. I can see that being made.
It's a scapegoat.
Man, that's low. That's low, bro. That is low, bro. Is there an unwritten rule
that says you can't blame your wife for bad things? Because I can blame my wife. I've blamed my wife for things like she said no.
But you start to give your wife a bad name. Somebody like me that thinks that they're trying to parent you.
I blame your wife sometimes.
I can see doing that if, again, low bro, in that you're going to use your wife as I'm not willing to tell you. Dude, you gotta put your adult
big boy pants on.
Your adult beer pants on, and
these things
and just
are comfortable.
own it. You go, I don't want to do that, man.
I might not take my adult beer pants off.
I might do it next time, but I don't want to do it this time. To blame your wife, that's brutal. Because then what happens the next time if your wife is hanging out with those people, and then they're like, yeah, you didn't let them do that? And they're like, what are you talking about?
Right. She had no idea that you even blamed her for it. That's brutal. That's sad.
My final rule
Okay.
is just follow the golden rule. That's usually
Do unto others.
Do unto your wife or spouse as you would like them to do to you. It doesn't take a lot on that. And I just think that's how I wrapped it up to go, that is my final thought. It's the Jerry Springer show that I was thinking of. So my final thoughts and constellations.
Our same one that said blame your wife if you don't want to go also brought up the Jerry Springer show. So
good.
Thanks, Billy.
All
Nice
right.
work.
Keeping me honest, and that's awesome. All right. So
We good?
we got good chat. Anything else before we count this one down?
There's some nonsense going on in chat, but mostly between people who do not believe that what we said was completely honest. So
Really?
yeah, I think self-awareness may be an issue. I'm not certain. We'll have to. I'm sure you'll have more discussions about it when this podcast is over.
Is it my own wife?
Yes.
She said she wasn't going to listen because
not.
she wants to. She likes to listen to these at certain times, and so it breaks up the weird schedule.
We got the two of them on the same time, which is probably.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
we're just having one. My wife has said we should bring them on the show for some sort of round table
fact check.
But it seems like we're having that kind of quasi now.
So if you're not listening on live with us on a Thursday night, you should. If you are, 100% appreciate it. So
yes, definitely. As just as a bit of a housekeeping thing, appreciate everybody's kind of going with us on this since we made the transition over to do some live shows. I think the amount we're doing is probably pretty good. Every couple of weeks doing a live show, but then also posting up the shows on YouTube that we do that aren't live. And then posting them out to our normal platforms, the Spotify, the Apples, and Amazon, and Audible, and all those places. That comes out the next Monday, so that basically we're hitting kind of all the avenues. You can comment, keep comments coming. You can keep commenting on the video after we shut this one down. And if you're listening after the fact, feel free to comment. Find us on the socials, interact with us. We love it.
Tell us what unwritten rules you have in your marriage, because apparently I need to start writing some stuff down for mine. I don't think we do great at that. So
you have so many written surveys. That's the funny thing. I think you do the surveys, but you should write down the other things.
Yeah, we don't. So we practice Agile, right? So we retro very frequently. If anybody doesn't know what Agile is, go look it up. It's a software development methodology that started with actually manufacturing in Toyota. But anyway, so we retro frequently. We discuss things ongoing. We don't have, listen, I'm telling you, this is what you need in your life.
What?
We don't have documentation. Like, we don't worry about that. We talk a lot. That's good. It's healthy. I know you're
no, it's good.
You're going to be the JA on this one, but I'm just saying. No, all good.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Much
Absolutely.
Appreciated. We love you. Come again. We're going to try again. My work, and I apologize, but the thing that I have to do for a living is ramping up to a certain, because of a company that's named by a fruit. When they do stuff, it drives me crazy. But we're going to try to keep some of the shows going, but over the next couple of weeks, maybe a little different on our schedule, but we'll keep them coming. Thanks.
If
Stick
you like,
with us.
If you like the lives, let us know that too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks you.
Thanks you.
Hey, I shouldn't have to tell you that the show's over. It's implied by the way we just signed off, but for those slow ones in the back, this is the end. Bye.